Oh, my poor Tahoe. Used and abused and put away wet. Used to be a Cummins in there. So I sold this engine. There's a little break in the weather. GTO's gone off the paint. I better pull this out real quick while it's t-shirt weather in Canada. This 4BT is going in a Diamond T, but we're gonna rebuild it on the side. This is a side project. We'll yank this body off. I got the 8 bolts out. We'll unhook some stuff under the hood. And we'll lift this puppy up, throw it on a trailer, and we'll pull that 4BT out. Here we go. Off the Andes. Ah, so sad. Okay, steering lines off the Hydro Boost. Some wiring. I think this was the main one. AC's cut, coolant lines are cut, steering shaft is cut. I think we can go up. Yeah, she's pretty rough. That's what mudding does to your truck. There's the gold right there. A little 4BT just hanging out. That tag is worth gold. Gotta rivet that back on again. Should I keep this frame for something else? I like the fuel tank, that's lower. I don't know, should I do something with this frame? Should I not? It's a nice driving frame. I wonder what the difference is between this and a half-ton frame. Okay, this is our 4BT 3.9 liter Cummins, which is basically a 5.9 or a 6BT minus 2 cylinders. Everything's kind of the same. The front timing cover, the bell housing bolts, the cooler is a little bit different, but you can basically take everything from a 5.9 and bolt it up to a 3.9. This is the one that was out of my Tahoe. Actually what started the channel way back 5 years ago. And I made the very bad mistake of putting it into an Ontario vehicle. We've since gotten smarter and are buying our vehicles from down south. If my Tahoe didn't rot away, we'd still be driving this in our little 2004 Tahoe that we put it in. You can check out that entire build, but we pulled this out and I sold this engine to somebody local. This one is going in a Diamond T, but I told him I'd only sell it to him if we freshened it up a little bit. I never took the head off last time and I don't want to sell him anything that isn't in good shape. So we finished the Tahoe off when we took it mudding. Check out that video. But we yanked this thing out pretty quick afterwards, but sitting in the shop for a while. So time to get into it. This is an HE221W turbo on it. It's a little bit smaller and spools way quicker and gives a lot more throttle response off the get-go. Great little turbo for the 3.9. Can't just take a 35 or a 40 or anything and pop it on there, which I learned because there's too much delay. There's not enough volume of air coming out spinning that turbo. So that's a nice little turbo. I had to get an adapter plate for it to go from a T4 to a T3, and those are all available online. We go over that in the series. My coolant lines here, you can see I teed into this one, and that's because this line fed the rear heat in the Tahoe so that my girls could have their own temperature in the back. The 4BTs don't come with grid heaters as far as I know. I made this adapter plate. I chopped this one down from a 5.9 and made it so that I could have my grid heater to start it in the winter. The adapter plate was from Diesel Conversion Specialists, and so far it's held up. So we're gonna trim the fat off this a little bit and then pull the head off, pull the pan off, see what conditions it's in, and then just put our rings and bearings and our 1-through in it. So here we go. So the same guy that bought this, we've done reviews. He's got a Ford half-ton that's on air ride, and he's also the owner of the 2-stroke Detroit swap fire truck on the GM chassis. So he's also the one that we worked a deal out with the Duramax and our C10, because originally the Duramax was going to go on that fire truck, and then he looked at the wiring and said no thanks. Wow, I had this manifold off. Welcome to Canada. Oh, it's gonna snap. I'm gonna take the turbo off. We're gonna leave the exhaust manifold on the engine when I take the head off. And then maybe I can warm it up nicer and with the impact, because these are gonna snap. The engine's already been pressure washed twice. The problem is we took it mudding, so the mud always kind of hides in there. But just blew it clean with a blowgun. It turns into like a nice dust, and then just kind of takes it from here and puts it all through the shop really nice. Nice and clean. I did change my oil, so that helps. We'll pull the rockers off, we'll pull our fuel injection lines off, and leave our injection pump in the timing cover. I already did the KDP on the front, and the front timing cover and the rear are not leaking. And it ran about a year and a half ago, I think. So we're not going to do the front and the back. We're just going to look at the heads, the rings, and the bearings, because that was all new to me. I've never looked inside. Kind of built this for my wife. She got a lot of attention whenever she drove this thing because it sounded like a tractor. So she didn't really enjoy driving it. She mainly drove the Saturn still. We've had the Saturn the entire time. And we have a general agreement that I am not allowed to do anything to the Saturn except change the oil and keep it running. So here's a little tech tip, more so than with the P-pumps, but you'll see the banjo fittings, whereas this one has a bleeder on it, but is straight through. So this is just a hollow banjo. Some of them have a ball and a spring on it, and that's actually your pressure, that sets your pressure inside the injection pump. If you had a pump where the fuel just flowed through, the pump wouldn't be able to grab that fuel, the right amount of fuel, and put it into the injectors. So if you mix up the two banjos, or you've got multiple banjos and you don't have that spring return in there, it won't run. Very simple. So if it won't start after you rebuild it, or if somebody's looked at it and can't get it running, look really smart and try to find a banjo with the spring in there. This one on the VE pump will have that pressure regulator right, I believe is right here. I know some of you caught this, that you see red paint on my filter, and you're like, that guy has never changed his filter before in his life. But I had two other engines here that we painted red, and I didn't want overspray on those filters, so I grabbed the filter off of this one, put it on the housings, painted it, and then took that filter and put it back on here. I swear. As to why you didn't see those two engines being painted, that video series will be coming up, and it's a pretty awesome one actually. A lot of good stuff coming down the line. Top secret stuff. Oh, that's a nice burn. Not much crosshatch left, but I don't feel a ridge, which is great. So I'm glad that when I built it and put it in the Tahoe that I didn't open it up because I didn't need it. I'm glad that I opened it up now because the crosshatch will definitely help along with the new set of rings and bearings. So we'll pull the pan off and get going on it. Here we go. The crusty. There you go. Almost reused that gasket. There we go. Nice. We're just gonna heat up one spot, and then hopefully the threads open up a little bit. And then give her the old ugga-duggas. One down, 7 to go. If you go cherry red and then try to pull the threads, you'll just strip all the threads and it'll be a bad day. There's always one. So we're gonna heat both sides up. It could be seized here too. So what I'm gonna do is heat it up here and here. We'll put some water on it. That'll get it hot and then it'll shrink really fast. Hopefully that'll break the connection and then we'll warm it up again and see if we can get it. Oh, I think we got it. Take that right to Mr. Scott at Northtown. Okay, so this is part one of a 3-part series again on the 4BT. I know we've built Cummins before, but you want to stick around because the next episode is going to be a complete breakdown of what happens at the machine shop when they do a cylinder head. So Scott from Northtown gets every one of my heads and goes over them, but we just convinced him lately to videotape the entire process on what he actually does. And it's cool because Scott also rebuilt the engine in the GTO, and he's also rebuilt the engine in the Audi. Now, we are going to get a full breakdown on how to blueprint and build a race engine. Do I have dirt on my face? I do. Anyway, so stick around. Thanks for watching, guys. We are going to get more in depth on everything that we do. We're doing a full build series on the 3126 and also on transmissions and clutches and the nitty-gritties of how things work and why we're doing what we're doing. So C10 is coming along really, really nice. And that'll be coming up in the next video very soon. The intake in that is well under control, even though you see them laying on the ground there. The exhaust is all done, super cool stuff. Stay safe, guys. Remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Make sure you watch the other 2 episodes. Here we go.